They called 911 to shut down my cattle ranch, branding me a nuisance farmer tainting their pristine suburb. But 6 months later, they realized the entire gate they targeted was a decoy, while my real operation thrived 200 yards away, untouchable. Picture this: 6 a.m., bulldozers growling toward my pasture in Cedar Hollow, Oregon, where my late wife Anna and I poured our hearts into building a life before cancer stole her 2 years ago. Lillian Carver, stepping from her gleaming Lexus in designer heels caked with mud, waved court papers like a war flag, smirking. "This filthy farm ends today, Mr. Kane." As diesel fumes mingled with the scent of morning hay, her hired news crew poised to film my defeat. Except she'd been waging war on a mirage, a carefully staged decoy I'd crafted to outsmart her. What would you do if an HOA tried to erase your family's legacy with a single phone call? Drop your wildest revenge ideas in the comments and tell me where you're watching from. I'm Elliot Kane, 47, a retired deputy sheriff who returned to my family's 47-acre ranch in Cedar Hollow, purchased in 1952 with my grandfather's GI Bill savings. After he survived the Normandy beaches, this land, soaked in 4 generations of sweat, smells of leather, hay, and resilience, its rolling hills holding memories deeper than any HOA rulebook could touch. After Anna's death, the ranch, 23 head of prime Angus cattle, became my lifeline, supplying grass-fed beef to local restaurants, honest work that kept our legacy alive and fed families. The old barn, its rafters creaking with the weight of history, still echoed with Anna's laughter from evenings spent walking fence lines under starlit skies. Then Maple Grove Estates, a 2019 subdivision of 52 manicured mansions, sprouted next door, bringing uniform lawns, identical mailboxes, and rules thicker than a Portland phone book. Most neighbors were decent, flocking to my farm stand for crisp carrots and sweet tomatoes, their kids giggling as Daisy, my gentle goat, nibbled their shoelaces. But Lillian Carver, a 52-year-old former corporate lawyer from Portland with a $600 manicure and a vendetta, had other plans. Her husband Thomas ran Carver Construction, the subdivision's builder, their ostentatious mansion guzzling more water for its lawn than my entire crop field used in a season. Trouble ignited 3 weeks after Lillian moved in, her certified letter crackling with legal threats about livestock odors slashing property values. My land, zoned agricultural since 1952 with grandfathered exemptions, laughed off her claims, but Lillian didn't care about facts. She craved control. Her nuisance lawsuit alleged health hazards from cattle quieter than her yapping poodle, followed by a town council meeting where she played the victim, claiming my cows endangered children and groundwater, her heels clicking on marble like a predator's claws. The Cedar Hollow Gazette painted me as a stubborn relic blocking progress, and a restraining order imposed a 500-foot buffer, forcing me to auction 8 cattle for $12,000 less than their worth, their confused bellows haunting me as they were loaded onto trailers. Maple Grove split faster than dry firewood. Locals like Edna Walsh, a 74-year-old diner owner, backed me, while newcomers whispered about modernization. Lillian's social media crusade, with doctored photos of my peaceful herd captioned as rural menaces, screamed power grab, not neighborly concern, her posts racking up likes from outsiders who'd never set foot on a farm. She found my weak spot, an expired septic permit from Anna's hospital days, when 18-hour vigils left. No time for paperwork, demanding an $18,000 commercial-grade system I couldn't afford after her lawsuits drained my savings. The smell of instant coffee and stale toast filled my kitchen as I stared at the county notice. But 15 years as a deputy sheriff taught me, when someone weaponizes bureaucracy, fight back with their own rules. Late nights in the county archives, guided by Marla Dixon, a clerk with a knowing smile and a knack for unearthing forgotten files, revealed Lillian's stone fence violated setback codes by 6 feet, her decorative pond lacked environmental permits, and her showcase lighting breached dark sky ordinances protecting Cedar Hollow's rural night skies. I filed 3 counter-complaints, each page a jab. The rustle of paper clips my symphony of bureaucratic revenge. Then Thomas knocked at dusk, sweating despite the cool air, confessing, were leveraged to the hilt, their Portland condo mortgage to fund their mansion. Lillian's war wasn't about aesthetics. It was financial desperation disguised as civic duty. Her retaliation was vicious, an anonymous IRS tip claiming $4,200 in unreported business income, triggering an audit that cost me another attorney I couldn't afford, noise complaints from seniors she bribed with promises of community funds, and a petition to rezone my land as residential, backed by 3 Maple Grove. Families she wined and dined with catered events costing more than my monthly feed bill. But my ace was subsurface mineral rights from 1890, extending under Maple Grove, worth $2.8 million in limestone deposits. Nighttime geological surveys, the crunch of core samplers under my boots, confirmed my leverage, guided by my college friend Jake Turner, now a mining engineer. Lillian upped the ante, sabotaging my well. Her teenage son Miles caught on hidden cameras dumping bleach at 2 a.m., his expensive mountain bike gleaming in the footage. Sheriff Sam Reed, sipping coffee in his office, reviewed the grainy video and advised, "Let the little fish swim to catch the big one." I confronted Lillian in his office, her coffee cup trembling as I showed the footage, demanding, "Stop, or Miles faces felony charges." 3 weeks of silence followed, but she was plotting, her desperation as palpable as the diesel fumes from her hired construction crews blocking my driveway with roadwork that never materialized. Lillian dug up an obscure ordinance banning my cattle trailers overnight parking, costing $150 monthly to store 12 miles away, and formed the Maple Grove Improvement Association, hiring a $25,000 Denver PR firm to paint me as a rural threat to family values. Her EPA complaint, alleging watershed contamination, brought Dr. Laura Pike, a federal inspector in hazmat gear, expecting Chernobyl but finding water cleaner than Portland's. Laura, disgusted by the misuse of federal resources, slipped me contacts for agricultural rights. Lawyers, whispering, "I've seen HOAs pull this before." My attorney, Janet Hayes, uncovered Lillian's falsified EPA data, claiming runoff levels 400% higher than reality, a federal crime carrying 2 years in prison and $100,000 fines. Then GPS surveys by Jake revealed a 1952 error. My fence sat 50 feet inside my true property line, meaning Lillian's prized rose garden was on my land. Her daily power walks past my gate unknowingly trespassing. The real ranch, hidden behind pine groves, thrived with 40 cattle, backup generators, and secondary water systems, built over 3 years. With funding from the Oregon Agricultural Heritage Foundation, which reimbursed every legal dollar Lillian forced me to spend. Her victories targeted a decoy gate, while my operation hummed. Invisibly, its low generator hum a quiet taunt she couldn't hear. Lillian's final gambit was a mandatory town hall, threatening non-attendees with lawsuits, her sham letterhead promising to expose my criminal empire. The Cedar Hollow Community Center buzzed, 100 people packed in, Channel 7 cameras rolling. Lillian, in a tailored silk suit, presented blurry photos of families buying carrots. Labeled drug deals, her voice shrill. "Elliot Kane threatens our children." The crowd shifted, sensing her delusion. I stood, badge glinting, boots echoing like a gavel. "Lillian Carver, you're under arrest for fraud, trespass, filing false reports, and embezzlement." Her scream, "I'm the victim," faded as Sam cuffed her, Laura adding federal charges for $300,000 in HOA theft. Her association, a sham, never incorporated, just a bank account funding her BMW and European getaways. Edna leapt up, shouting, "She robbed us blind." As applause erupted, Lillian's perp walk airing live, her cries of conspiracy drowned by Justice's roar. 6 months later, Lillian was sentenced to 5 years in federal prison with no parole, ordered to pay $500,000 in restitution to Maple Grove residents. Thomas received 3 years for his role in the fraud, his complicity in Carver Construction's bribes exposed. Miles got probation for vandalism, his bleach stunt costing the family their last shred of credibility. Maple Grove recovered $10,000 per household, enough for families like the Hendersons to save their homes from foreclosure. The community dissolved the sham HOA, forming a transparent one with elected board members and a permanent bylaw protecting agricultural operations. My ranch, now designated a heritage preserve, became the heart of Cedar Hollow, hosting the annual Cedar Hollow Harvest Festival, which raised $35,000 for scholarships to send local kids to college for agriculture, law, and journalism, prioritizing those Lillian had targeted. I remarried Clara Reed, Sam's sister, under the pine grove Lillian couldn't touch, our wedding a celebration of neighbors turned family, the sizzle of barbecue mingling with children's laughter under string lights. My book, Fields of Justice, hit bestseller lists, its pages chronicling our fight and sparking HOA reform laws in 5 states, mandating transparency and criminal background checks for board members. Cedar Hollow transformed. Block parties replaced petty disputes, shared gardens bloomed where complaints once festered, and a solar cooperative slashed energy costs by 30%, with excess produce feeding the local food bank. Thomas rebuilt his reputation, pivoting Carver construction to farm-friendly developments, his public apology earning cautious respect. My speaking tours at law schools and civic groups spread lessons of resilience, inspiring a Federal Trade Commission task force on HOA abuses, uncovering similar scams nationwide. Yet, as I sip coffee on my rebuilt porch, Daisy grazing nearby, the sunrise painting the hills gold, I wonder if Lillian's 5-year sentence was enough. Her fraud shredded Cedar Hollow's trust, targeting the vulnerable, exploiting neighbors for personal gain, rebuilding forged bonds stronger than ever. But was her punishment justice, or should I have pushed for a decade to deter future tyrants? Where's the line between vengeance and accountability when your legacy is attacked? Lillian's downfall birthed a movement, but it cost us years of peace and a community's soul laid bare. Share your HOA horror stories below. What's true justice in neighborhood wars? Did I go far enough? Or should I have fought for harsher consequences to protect others from petty despots? Like, subscribe, and join the fight against suburban bullies who think they can crush your dreams with a pen and a smirk. Your story could spark the next revolution.